In this session of Weaving Basics, we will learn how to tie counting chains. So what I've done is I've come down with my last thread and I've wound this one around the peg a number of times, holding that thread in place. I push in. I find a counting thread, which is a thread of a very different color, quite thick and quite long. I've doubled this thread so that I have a loop that I put my finger through. Glasses on my nose. And now I'm going to count in an area where I can see things well. I am not going to count up here because I don't know whether I have 2 threads or 4 threads I've got across and so on. It's too busy up here to count. I count in an area where I can see, and I count, and my counting thread is only for counting. It has no other function. So I'm going to count out 20 threads per inch. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Loop in behind. Make sure I don't have my guide thread. Fingers through the loop. Pull up. And there's the first chain of my counting thread. I can let that go. It'll sit by itself. I can now count my next 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I know I need 4 more. Unwind down here. There's 17 and 18, 19 and 20. Remember that each time a warp thread goes up and comes back down, it's equal to 2 ends. I wind this off, hold it tight, push my warp in, form my loop, and there's my first 2 inches at 20 ends per inch. I am ready to keep winding my warp. Our counting thread was all used up halfway through this purple section, so I'm going to start a new counting thread for the last part. So I pick up my white thread, which is a good different color, a nice long length so I can count. Remember to double it. Glasses on your nose. Here we go. So this is where the last one finished. I'm now going to insert my counting thread under here. I'm going to count out my first 20 threads. 4, 6, 8, 20. There's my 20. It does not matter which order they're in because this is only a counting thread. It is not going to be used for a rattle cross. Its only purpose is to count. So I've got my group. I take my loop, pass my fingers so that I pull up the other loop and tighten it. It's a little bit like a crochet stitch. Leave that there. Just let that hang. Now count the next 20. 2, 20. There's my next 20. I have my loop here. Go through and pick up the thread. Form a new loop. It's like the loops that are used on potato bags or cat food bags, dog food bags. It's a chained stitch. Again, I'm going to count here. 2, 4 properly. So there's my next 20. Here's my loop. Pull the string through, form the new loop, tighten up, and we'll keep going here. 20. Loop, through the loop, tighten up, and you can see it forms a nice tight little area. And now I know that I have 4 threads left over here, which means that I am 16 short of my last inch, which makes it very easy to count for the last inch. Finger through between the 2 yarns. So now we're going to go up. Each time I go up, it's 2 threads. Back down makes 4, 14, and 16. So 16 was what I needed for the last one because I already had the 4. I'm ready to cut off. Cut my yarn, tie it in whatever knot I need to tie it in to hold it there under tension. Push in, always, always, always push in. We have a mistake up here. That gets fixed that way. Make sure your cross is always in order here. Take the last counting thread, pull it through. I know I have 20 threads because I counted them. And this time you pull the cord all the way through and tighten it up. The only function of the counting thread is to count. It has no other purpose at all. I am now at the stage where I need to put on my choke ties. In the next session, we will continue making our warp and learn how to tie choke ties.